See, this is what we get to at the heart of all of these. It's what you hear in Garcetti's voice. Same story with all of them. Do exactly what we say, and maybe we'll give you some of your rights and privileges back. But don't do what we say, and we're going to double down. That's what Gavin Newsom did when he closed down the beaches specifically of his political opponents. But I thought the whole point of the orders, I thought the whole point of the lockdowns was we have to do it. So if you're saying that we're about to ease the restrictions as long as you do what we say, then it makes me question whether we had to do it in the first place. It seems so damn arbitrary. And they defend all of it in the name of science and data. I'm sick of, I never want to hear that phrase again. I'm done. I like science in the sense that I like knowledge, but I don't like the way that science has been politicized by the left. It has become a joke. It's a false god. I don't care. I'm not paying any worship to the liberal god of science with a capital S and a trademark over the E. You actually saw a fight break out, a disagreement break out over at the Senate between Dr. Rand Paul, a scientist, and Dr. Anthony Fauci, another scientist. And they were having a disagreement and a debate over the nature of these lockdown orders. I think Rand Paul got it exactly right.
In rural states, we never really reached any sort of pandemic levels in Kentucky and other states. We have less deaths in Kentucky than we have in an average flu season. It's not to say this isn't deadly, but really outside of New England, we've had a relatively benign course for this virus nationwide. And I think the one-size-fits-all that we're going to have a national strategy and nobody's going to go to school is kind of ridiculous. We really ought to be doing it school district by school district, and the power needs to be dispersed because people make wrong predictions. And really the history of this, when we look back, will be of wrong prediction after wrong prediction after wrong prediction, starting with Ferguson in England. So I think we ought to have a little bit of humility in our belief that we know what's best for the economy. And as much as I respect you, Dr. Fauci, I don't think you're the end all. I don't think you're the one person that gets to make a decision. We can listen to your advice, but there are people on the other side saying there's not going to be a surge and that we can safely open the economy, and the facts will bear this out.
Thank you. That one line. As much as I respect you, Dr. Fauci, I don't think you're the end all. I don't think you're the guy who gets to make all of these decisions for us. You know, this woman, Barbara Ferrer, PhD, MPH, MED, Director of Public Health in Los Angeles, nobody elected her. There is no evidence that she understands anything about weighing real political questions, the real eternal questions, having accountability to constituents she doesn't even have. Frankly, there's no evidence that she knows all that much about medicine, all that much about viruses. And yet, for some reason, she gets to call the shots, and then you have 12 hours of headlines about how LA is locking down for 3 months, even though none of the elected officials even called for it. Certainly, none of the citizens called for it. Why are we exporting our politics to this dictatorship of lab coats? I don't remember that. I didn't go to the ballot in 2016 and vote for the exalted Emperor Fauci. Okay, maybe he's a nice guy, maybe he's a smart guy. I don't know. I don't know him. But here's what I do know. He doesn't rule me. Well, now I guess he does, but he shouldn't. And we shouldn't permit this kind of thing to happen. So I think Rand Paul hit the nail on the head. And Fauci, to his credit, responded by saying that, yes, Rand Paul, you're right.
I have never made myself out to be the end-all and only voice in this. I'm a scientist, a physician, and a public health official. I give advice according to the best scientific evidence. There are a number of other people who come into that and give advice that are more related to the things that you spoke about the need to get the country back open again and economically. I don't give advice about economic things. I don't give advice about anything other than public health.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that's a good line. That's a good way to avoid responsibility, Dr. Fauci. But the reality of the situation, whether it's through your own doing or just because of the position people have put you in, you are giving advice on all those things. When Dr. Fauci goes up, like he did for several weeks of this shutdown, and gives the lion's share of the expert testimony at these coronavirus briefings, then he is giving advice on the economy. When Dr. Fauci goes up and says, look, from my position as a doctor, as a scientist, as a lab coat for public health, we need to keep the economy locked down, foot on the accelerator, as he said, his words. for the foreseeable future, he is giving advice on the economy, right? He's not saying from the perspective of the epidemic, we need to remain locked down. But we can open the economy, but we can open our political rights. No, you can't separate those things. These are political questions. If you're going to lock down, then you're locking down people's political rights. You're locking down people's economic rights. And you're locking down people from the perspective of public health. It's all the same thing. And so perhaps this is actually a little more to be laid at the feet of President Trump than it is of Dr. Fauci. After all, Trump is the one who put Fauci in front of the cameras. But in retrospect, hindsight's 2020, it might have been better if President Trump, instead of only putting Dr. Fauci or Dr. Scarf out there to talk about, how important it is that we all lock down, if he had also, from the very beginning, put up more people to talk about the economy, put up more people to talk about national security, put up more people to talk about our rights that obviously are being suspended in this unusual time of epidemic. If he in the presentation on this topic had put Dr. Fauci in his place, it's not a personal thing, but it's a political thing. If he had put science in its place, science, the way we talk about it today, meaning materialistic methods of inquiry into the natural world, natural science serves a purpose. It serves a great function in its place. But when we pretend that it's our political ruler, when we pretend that it's a god, then things go wacky. If you enjoyed that video, and let's be honest, of course you did. I hope you did. Be sure to hit the subscribe button so everyone wading through the wasteland of YouTube knows that we have the best content out there.